As you look into the eyes of a bloody-cold assassin, it's only then you'll realise that no one can hear. The next song is My Big Mouth. My Big Mouth is the second song up on the album Be Here Now. So you finally got your album, 24th of August 1997, a Thursday, famously, remember. You've first song up is Do You Know What I Mean? So it is the main lead single, and first song on the album. This is the second, and it blasts in with this massive wall of sound until it finally just sort of morphs into the main riff. And it just carries that energy through for the next 5-6 minutes. Just brilliant. It's just, again, announcing we are back. This is Oasis. You don't get this from anyone else in 1997. You only get this sort of sound directly from Oasis. It's a big song lyrically, I would say. My Big Mouth, of course, Liam and Noel were both renowned in the mid-90s for their sort of, well, possibly regrettable in opinions on other artists, shall we say. Sometimes it got them into a wee bit of Barney's, but overall they sort of rode that wave, and sort of Liam is now expected to make some withering put down to an unsuspecting young indie band who maybe raised their head above the parapet. It can look a bit put upon that the whole Liam's big mouth, as it were, that he just shoots his mouth off everywhere and all around him, but he it does actually seem to be his opinions, and you can't really fake it, because, as I said, once you've tried, like your man from Razorlight and your man from that no-name punk band, they tried just being a caustic, toxic, insult machine. But if you don't have the songs to back it up, if you're just trying to be a sort of hit merchant for the edgelord machine, you have to back it up with tunes, and My Big Mouth is a fucking tune. Like, it's sort of given the low 50s in the rankings. I would actually put it higher than that. I would put it higher than Stay Young, for example, ever so slightly. I do think it's sort of what it sets out to do in musicality. It achieves mini epic of just loud hard rock when you're contemplating your regrets for speaking your truth too often, or maybe speaking your own truth too often. It just, from start to finish, it is just a banger, and this was the biggest album launch in history. I think it was over 1 million copies sold within like 4 days or something, which is what's used in the physical era. And this to be second up, there's a lot of promise coming through. Like, you've, as I said, the two all-time legendary albums that have already sort of had their day, and now you're coming up to see what the Oasis have next. It's very encouraging if you're listening to this for the first time that this was second up, My Big Mouth. It was first performed, actually, so a lot of, if you're a real diehard fan at the time, you would have probably already been familiar with it, because it was performed at Nebworth the year before. I didn't actually know that until I was researching for this. So that was over a year before the album was released. So it was, nearly a holdover from the songwriting energy of What's the Story. This is a top-notch banger as far as I'm concerned. I can't think of any other band in the 90s that could have sort of hit this sound. Certainly not from Britain or Ireland or anything. The grunge guys weren't really doing this sort of sound. The Metallica was hitting into alternative, but it wasn't quite this sort of loose. Metallica's obviously very tight band. Speaking of their big mouths, they've been given an official, well, I say an official warning, it's nothing like an official warning. They've been instructed, apparently, if they go to the United States, to not air their opinions on the current sitting president. probably is the wise counsel, given that the president is now the military taking over Washington D.C. and plans to take over some of the other cities that they're playing in. So yeah, it probably would be wise to keep the big mouths shut for the duration of your stay in the United States if you want to come in and cash the checks. Other Oasis news, of course, was that somebody actually died at the Wembley concert. They slipped on beer and I think fell over a balcony, which is pretty bad. Uh, well, it's obviously pretty bad for everyone involved, especially the man and his family, and he's there just obviously having a good time and just seeing Oasis again. Um, it's a pretty bad reflection on Wembley Stadium uh, safety, standards. The information that I was hearing afterwards is that there was beer spilt all over the steps and they were quite slippy. I suppose you could ask why were they allowed beer in the stands because you're not allowed that in football. But plenty of other sports would have beer and would expect beer in the stands. And if you're at a concert, you're you're not going to be suffering your drink outside. If you're going to be selling, you're going to have the bars open. You want to be expecting that you can bring your drink to if you're in the stands to sit down. That you're going to be able to bring your drink with you. Um, so obviously that was pretty bad news. But we're only just starting the Be Here Now era, so stick around. Number 36 is coming up next.